Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Quick look here at Bitcoin. We're going to see what's going on. Quickly double check a few key factors here on the back end and just kind of see generally where we're at here with liquidation because the price did wake all the way down to 71,000. I'm very curious what this looks like. We'll just jump right in here. This is the last 7 days, so it's not going to be super definitive. We do have, again, that heavy concentration at 65K, but we did see some liquidation level at 70,500, as low as, of course, 70K. Not a lot of late longs here in the market. But I do know some people in our community that took some nice longs there. So quick little congrats here to Borek. You took a nice little 70K if it got there, and it was perfect. In fact, 70,000 was like touched perfectly on the charts. I'll show you here in a minute, but it is what is it? It's not random when these things happen. Okay, it's all controlled and definitely played out well. Tons of limit orders at 70,000 got filled. Is it basically what it boils down to? All right, so let's quickly look at the 12-hour time frame and kind of see where we're at here. Double check there's some things here. We can see a lot more shorts than longs in the most recent 12 hours. Kind of sporadic here, but we got late longs at 71.7, upwards, of course, at 73 to 74K. So just keep in mind here, this doesn't necessarily mean the price is going to shoot up because of that, right? Generally, that's what happens, but if there's a lot of bearish divergences on the chart, none of that really matters too much. It's less common for that to occur. Granted, this coin is heavily manipulated, but generally speaking, we're seeing a lot more selling pressure than usual today and yesterday, so it's just important to kind of recognize that. All right, so let's look, just generally speaking, at the daily time frame. Work our way down again. All moving averages are in good shape there. We are starting to see the price action trend down towards 70. Generally, when you lose 70 in the RSI, that's a sell signal for the price to continue lower. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to drop super hard, but you got to recognize too, we've been above this level for 5, coming up on 9 days now. We've been above the RSI for 9 days. Last time we came above the RSI from February 9th upwards of February 22nd, that was 13 days. And what did that do for us here in the price action? Basically, the price action did pull back a little bit, but it wasn't a lot. Okay. So by me saying this doesn't mean that the price is going to shoot to the ground, right? But it does imply that we could see further selling in the next 24 to 48 hours, or more so important, once we cross that level, we'll see 2 or 3 days of red. Because again, this is, just kind of make it easy for you. This is what happened when the RSI dropped below 70. Okay. Again, it's not an exact science, but it is something to kind of recognize in that regard. Okay, so taking a quick look here at the current price action. So what are we looking at here? First of all, we got to update the fibs. I'll pull this up just a little bit since we got a candlestick closure yesterday. And then just kind of recognize that we did break through our most recent high here today. So in the last 24 hours, we've broken that most recent high upwards of 73,600. Take a look, though, at the price action. We can see, of course, here as well, stochastic RSI swinging down. This is a second kind of indicator letting us know the price action is pulling back. And we are diverging here on the MACD. Haven't fully yet. But my speculation is we drop below 70 or reach this upper 60,000 range, we will see that effectively diverge. So me personally, I'm waiting on I'm waiting on taking a long position. Even though I think psychologically 70,000 is a support level, I also feel that we're going to lose that and likely hit the this upper 60K range. I do personally feel like the low 50s, maybe even upper 50s, might be a thing of the past. So just kind of got to wrap your head around that. But on the same accord, different scenarios all the time, right? So let's quickly just draw out some trend lines here too, just so we got these here going for us. And we're just going to pay a little bit of attention to that and generally see where we're at, okay? So again, I do need to clean up my charts. I know I've got a lot of trend lines here, but these are just previous support levels, usually based on daily or weekly candlestick closures. And again, we had a previous resistance at 70,000, this level here, and we can see that pretty clear as day, the price action wicking down to that level. So look at this here. Boom, perfect wick, bounced right off that level. Okay, now I got an X here as well. That's kind of letting us know if we close in this range here, there's going to be some bearish divergences. So let's talk about that. First of all, we lost the 20-day SMA. That's pretty obvious. That just blasted straight through. Once again, you got to recognize 20-day SMA is not really a support level. It's more of just a understanding of where you're at in the overall trend, okay? So if you kind of see this little trend here, you can kind of see that pretty obvious the price action lost that trend line, and now that we've broken below that, we got to be mindful that the Bitcoin could continue lower. All right. Same thing here with the 50-day SMA. That's even more of a trend setter. I would say the 50 carries a little bit more weight. Being below that level would effectively imply that we have further downside potential. Okay. So just bear that in mind. No pun intended with the word bear, by the way. Let's take a look here at stochastic RSI. We can see that swinging down, of course. Standard behavior for the price action the way it's at. We are under 50 on the RSI for the first time in a while. Now, if we close on the daily here, the last time we had this was mid to late February. It's been about 3 weeks since we've been under that level. And last time we had this kind of, sub 50 on the RSI, this is what the price action looked like. It's right here when we are below 50 on the RSI, okay? Now, that may not seem like a lot, but that was a pretty big move at the time, okay? So what I'm getting at here is just that, the importance of understanding where you're at in the overall sense of the trend is important, right? So if we know that previously, when we were underneath 50 on the RSI, the price action for Bitcoin from top to bottom corrected itself about 4 to 5%. If we're going to, expect that to happen here, we could very well see the same scenario. We could see another 4 to 5%. Now, you could also presume that the price action being where it's at is already baked in, and we got that 4 to 5% correction, which is also true, right? We had about a 4.5. So that could basically nullify it completely. However, the longer that you spend below 50 on the RSI, the more likely the price is to continue down. That's generally the concept. So just keep that in mind. I'm not saying we've broken bearish per se, but there's a lot of reasons here why we should consider the fact that the price might continue lower. We do take a look here, of course, at stochastic RSI and MACD. Those are all diverging. We're under 50 on the RSI. Money flow index is low. These are extremely bearish signs, and if we lose this trend line here, we close below the cloud today, I think it might be consideration for a short. So let's talk about that. Hourly time frame. Again, I'm a firm believer in the Ichimoku cloud giving us confirming factors. While we are breaking below the cloud right now, it's not a sound closure, right? We want to have 3 or 4 hours below the cloud at least. So we're hour number 1, hypothetically, by today's candlestick closure. I mean, we have about, 6 hours left today. I would say by today's candlestick close, as soon as the candlestick closes here today around 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, there's going to be a solid chance that the price action is in this range at 70,900 or lower. Then we're going to be in a position where we might want to consider shorting this coin. I know it sounds kind of weird. I've always talked about how it's important not to short, but truth is we've had a lot of success in the recent 24-hour period with shorting coins. Ocean 42%, Filecoin 25%, and then what was it? We also got some nice profits from Fetch.ai 34%. Okay, so that excludes our injective and AVAX longs. Obviously, that's a different story altogether. But what I'm getting at is I'm hedging a lot of our longs with some shorts for a reason, because those are showing bearish divergences. All those coins that I sent short signals on had a bearish divergence, right? In this example here, Bitcoin is breaking bearish, but it isn't quite there yet. You can see this lower lead on the cloud holding strong so far. So we close above 70,900, that would be invalidated. If we close below it, I think it would be likely case scenario for the price action to continue lower. Again, this isn't the only indicator I use to get confirmation, but right now the 4-hour time frame is extremely bearish, and we're losing these trend lines or retesting these trend lines, right? We got this 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. The more often you test a trend line or support, the more likely it is to break, right? That's the general rule. So if we apply that here, we break below that level, there's a stronger chance we're going to see the price continue lower. So again, the cool thing is in about 5 to 6 hours, the price action will either have retested this level and broken through it, or it would have stayed above and all is well and good. But generally speaking, I'm looking for a confirmation there. Every time the price is wicked down, it's gotten rejected by the cloud, okay? So keep that in mind. The cloud is a very, very friendly indicator, specifically on the hourly time frame. If you're not familiar with how it works, go check it out. And I have an instructional video for it. So cool stuff there, right? That's kind of where we're at. So I say it's cool because if we trade a confirmation, we feel better about knowing that we have more statistical probabilities of the price going the direction we want it to. And that's generally the concept. So I hope that you learned something here today, of course. Make sure if you haven't registered for Bitunix, we need 20 more registrants or registrations essentially between now and December, March 27th to ensure that you can qualify for this prize pool here. Again, 10K, 30 people, really simple, folks. Just get on over there and register. You have to use the link down below to do that. And obviously, if you do, then it'll be a lot of fun. We can all trade together and make it a good experience. Thank you so much either way for watching. Hope you learned something today. We got a lot of new trading members here over in our community, so please, please, please welcome them aboard, and be sure to read through our signals guide if you're new to the channel. You need to understand the difference between Premium Plus and Premium. They're both very different, and I structure my trades a lot more unique than the average person. But again, it does provide some pretty beneficial results. We hit 100% accuracy last month. We're trending about 96% accuracy this month. So it's pretty cool. It's a good experience. So thanks again for being part of that, folks. Hope you all have a great rest day. We'll see you in the next one. Take good care of yourself.